Hi everybody and welcome to English Digest. I'm Pat.
And I'm Kat.
And we're looking at this month's Newswatch article, which contains two quite different stories.
Yes, it does. I'd say one is really, really serious, and the other one is more of a celebration kind of story.
Yeah, I mean, the first story does contain good news, but it's about a difficult subject, as we'll get into, while the second one relates to something, it's also good news in Taiwan, about Taroko Gorge. Have you spent much time there?
I have been there. I went there, I took a scooter there, and we went all through the gorge, probably just on a day trip. It was beautiful. Have you been there?
Yes, I've been there a few times now. I've been there when my family came to visit a couple of years ago. We spent an afternoon in there. I've spent a few odd days up and down, taking some of the different hiking trails, the one through the tunnel, the one that's kind of through a cave and under a waterfall.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Close to a temple.
Yes, there's that one as well. There's also, there used to be one up to a pavilion that was really high up, but the last time I tried to go there, the trail had been completely obscured and covered by landslides. It was just impassable. You couldn't even walk up it.
It's probably too dangerous to go in that case anyway.
Very much dangerous, yes, so we gave up. But yeah, I really enjoy going there. I think it's a beautiful place.
It's one of the best places in Taiwan.
Yeah, happy to go there and visit. We'll find out, and it's helped Taiwan win a Tele Award, which we'll get to a bit later. We're going to first read a different news story about online child abuse. Let's read through those two and see what's in the news. Tech giants team up to fight online child abuse. Some of the biggest names in technology are uniting to combat online child abuse and sexual exploitation. The corporations include Facebook, Google, Apple, and Microsoft, and they're using their financial muscle to support Project Protect. This is a 5-step plan created by the Technology Coalition, a group of industry leaders who pledged to stop child abuse. It's especially important to act now as the COVID-19 crisis has left more children at home using the internet without supervision, while tech companies have fewer staff members available to monitor and remove offensive content from the web. The plan incorporates 5 pillars of action, which include investing in new technology and funding independent research into ways of ending online child abuse. There will also be annual forums to report on progress and bring together experts to suggest improved solutions. As these horrible crimes are beyond one single company's ability to stop entirely, it's hoped that with all these companies working together, the internet can become a safer place for children.
Taiwan, Mountain Beauty, Village and Culture wins Tele Award. Taiwan, Mountain Beauty, Village and Culture is a TV show that brings Taiwan's stunning scenery to audiences around the world. The country's tourism bureau worked with PBS host Joseph Rosendo to create the show. Rosendo takes viewers to Taroko National Park and introduces features such as the Qingshui Cliffs and the Bayang Waterfall Trail. At every step, he highlights not only the area's wonderful scenery, but also the important moments in history connected with Taroko Gorge, and the efforts the national park managers have made to promote sustainable tourism. The show proved to be a huge hit and was rewarded with a Gold Award at this year's Tele Awards. These awards have been given out to TV and video broadcasts since 1979 and honor programs from all around the world. The Tourism Bureau hopes Taiwan Mountain Beauty, Village and Culture will raise awareness of the possibilities of travel in Taiwan.
Okay, so let's take a look at our first news article, which is Tech Giants team up to fight online child abuse.
Right.
We're going to use tech pretty much throughout this day of the article or the first story just to mean technology. You'll hear it often. People say the tech industry.
Yeah.
I want some new tech. What's new in tech?
I want to study tech. I want to be in the tech field, tech world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's a very common shorthand name for technology.
Right.
Cell phones, computers, the internet, and so on. And these giants, these big companies, these big powerful organizations are teaming up to fight online child abuse. Abuse is cruel and violent treatment of a person or animal, usually one that's kind of repeated and done, for cruelty's sake, not for any other purpose.
Yeah, it's or to establish power.
Yes,
something
that
like
too.
that. Yeah, but it is usually repeated, or at least it can have a significant impact on that child or animal's life or person's life. All right, so begins. Some of the biggest names in technology are uniting to combat online child abuse and sexual exploitation. So first vocabulary word here we have combat, and this can be a noun or a verb. Here it's a verb, and when we say it as a verb, it's combat. If it's a noun, it's combat.
In British English, we would probably say it both the same. We'd say
really?
to combat something.
To combat something.
So, there's a difference there between British and American English, but both are okay.
All right. So to combat or to combat means to fight something, basically. To fight against something and make it so that it's less powerful, less effective. Basically, you're trying to stop something. It's like prevention, but it's already happening. Prevention is usually trying to stop something from happening, but when you can't prevent it, you want to combat it so that it goes away.
Exactly. So, it's just a synonym for fight against, really. We're just trying to stop this thing. We've got two things, in fact, mentioned here. Child abuse, which we've covered, and sexual exploitation.
Yeesh.
Exploitation is treating somebody unfairly in order to benefit from either their work or just who they are.
Yeah.
We could call it exploitation when somebody is paying people nothing or very little to do hard work. We could call it exploitation when their emotions or their good nature is being used to kind of trick them out of money or hard work. And here it's exploiting children's either lack of power or lack of understanding about the world to get them in basically horrible situations.
Yeah, horrible sexual situations, which is I can't even imagine.
It's horrible, and it's not really something we want to dwell on. Unfortunately, it does happen, and this is why all these groups are out there trying to stop it, because it is truly awful.
Yeah, it's awful, and it's way more common than it should be. So, that's why they've come, it takes these powerful companies coming together to try and figure out the problem. And so the corporations include Facebook, Google, Apple, and Microsoft. And they're using their financial muscle to support Project Protect. So, you can tell by these names, you know what Google is and Facebook and Microsoft and Apple. You probably use all four of them, or at least three of them, every day. So they are corporations. They're really, really big companies that have been incorporated, which
means they're recognized by law, and it means they can act as one entity. So Facebook owns a number of other different technologies. I think it owns WhatsApp.
It owns WhatsApp. It owns Instagram. It owns a lot of things.
Who owns YouTube now?
Google.
So there we go. So there are other kind of big companies that you'd almost think of as their own company, but they're under the corporation of Google or Facebook. So they can do one thing, and in law that counts as the entire company acting. They've been recognized in law as one huge super company.
That's right. Amazon is another one.
Yes, we often use the word corporation to kind of mean a super company.
Yeah.
Not a small one, not just like a regular small company with a handful of employees. If you're talking a corporation, you usually think it's international. It employs thousands of people.
Or hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, it's a name that you're going to probably recognize or use some of their projects. Disney, Coca-Cola, a couple of things like that, some of the others.
Or even TSMC?
Yes, I would say so.
That's a corporation. All right. So what are they doing to use their financial muscle?
Well, they're basically using their strength, their influence. That's what we mean by muscle here. Not the actual muscles of your body, the things that push and pull and generally get you moving. Muscle here means power and influence, and it's financial muscle, so this power comes from their money. These companies are incredibly rich, and they can use that wealth to kind of, put behind this Project Protect, to support it financially, to, as we'll see later, invest in new things and really use their money, their power to get stuff done.
So muscle is kind of like the strength you have in a particular area.
Yes.
Got it. All right, so what are they doing?
Well, we see in the article that this is a 5-step plan created by the Technology Coalition, a group of industry leaders who pledged to stop child abuse.
Okay.
A coalition is basically a group of people or a group of companies acting together.
Yeah.
The Technology Coalition is a different group from all of these big corporations. It's a slightly separate thing which includes individuals from those corporations as well as other individuals throughout, some experts in this particular area who are less on technology but more on the psychology, more on the criminal law side of what needs to be done. So these are other industry leaders in this field, but also related fields.
Okay, so because it takes a lot of different knowledge sets to fight a problem like this, because it is involved in technology, it's involved in psychology and law, all sorts of things. Yeah, so what they've done, the Technology Coalition, they've pledged to stop child abuse. When you pledge something, it's like a promise, but it's more formal. Like you've made it in front of other people. You said, like, I very seriously promise that this is our main goal and this is something that we are definitely going to do. So pledging to do something, or you could even pledge your loyalty, which means like you want to show somebody you're loyal. So you say like, I will never betray you. I swear on this very serious thing, like probably the Bible or something like that.
You could also pledge by officially signing your name to a document. Like you could almost say signing a contract is a pledge that you will do everything that it says in the contract.
Yeah, so it's a formal promise.
Exactly. So, we're going to kind of go back to what has been the global news for most of this year as to why it's important that this happens now. We see it's especially important to act now as the COVID-19 crisis has left more children at home using the internet without supervision, while tech companies have fewer staff members available to monitor and remove offensive content from the web. So a long sentence there, but it does kind of explain why this problem is quite acute, quite big right now, and why action is needed now, of course, related to COVID-19, which hasn't been out of the news for months.
No, I mean, because it's still happening. So, more children at home using the internet without supervision. Of course, if kids are not going to school in person, then they're at home. And if they're at home, then likely what they're doing is either playing games or going to school or doing something else online, because that's what they do for entertainment now. So they're doing it without supervision as well. And supervision means somebody is supervising you, which means they're kind of watching you to make sure that you're doing the right things, that you're not getting into things that you're not supposed to, that you're not getting in trouble. So supervising can happen for like employees. Their bosses will supervise their work. Students will be supervised by their teachers. At home, a child will have their parents' supervision to make sure that they are staying safe and that they are not getting into things that they shouldn't be into. But if they're not using it with supervision, then that means they can pretty much do whatever they feel like.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation. Obviously, children can't go to school, and in many places they can't even leave their homes due to lockdowns. But their parents still have to work, which means the kids are left to do whatever they want. Some will be taking classes, but even that is using the internet connection.
Yes.
And then they can go, okay, well, what else can I do? Or the internet connection connection might not be secure. And that's one half of the problem. The other half is tech companies not having people available to kind of help and do the job they normally do.
Yeah.
Some of them because they've lost their jobs or because they have to work from home and they can't use their company's powerful servers. Some of them will just be taking time off because of COVID. There are numerous reasons why they aren't available or why they're doing other stuff. But basically, there aren't as many around to monitor something. To monitor means basically to supervise, to watch something and make sure that everything is going well, nothing is going wrong, no laws are being broken, and basically to keep an eye on what's happening at all times.
Yeah, so what are they monitoring exactly? Well, they're monitoring for and removing offensive content, and that's something that you see on the internet quite a lot. It's if something is offensive, it means that it has the potential to maybe hurt somebody's feelings or say something nasty about them or show nasty things. I think in this case, it's more about like showing things that are illegal or will make somebody traumatized or will, just be very bad for somebody.
Yeah.
Like showing, like exploiting children.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
an offensive thing.
Yeah, the stuff we looked at earlier, the abuse, the exploitation, we need people basically, because if people make it or record it and upload it, other people need to go, okay, something's there, we need to take it down, we need to block access to this site, we need to find out who did it and report them and get their IP address as soon as we can, if possible.
Right.
So if there are fewer people doing that and taking down the content and blocking access, more people will see it, more people will be upset, deeply affected, badly hurt, and so on.
Yeah, exactly.
All
so
right.
It's a bad thing all around.
Yes, indeed. Now, we're going to take a short break right here. There's a lot more words in the first story that we need to go over and explain to you guys. So we're going to take a short break here and come back in a few moments to finish this first story and then check out our second one. Okay, everybody, welcome back. We're still on our first story from our Newswatch article, and we're looking at this 5-step plan in Project Protect.
So, how are they going to do this whole thing of stopping child abuse and stopping child exploitation? Well, it says the plan incorporates 5 pillars of action, which include investing in new technology and funding independent research into ways of ending online child abuse. So, yeah, they have basically kind of a 5-step plan, but it's not really steps. It's more like
5 areas.
Yeah, 5 areas. They all exist side by side. But first we have to talk about this word incorporate. So incorporate means to include something, basically. So incorporate, you see this in corporations, they are incorporated, but incorporate also means include, just basically include.
Exactly. And as Kat said, pillars here doesn't mean the kind of pillars you might see on a building, a large stone or wood column or something, but it kind of means that in a metaphorical sense. If there's a plan, there might be things holding up that plan. Those are the pillars. They're basically the different parts of the plan, key things that the plan rests on. If one of those parts is not working, the plan falls down.
Yes.
Just like a building with a missing pillar would fall down. So this is why it's often used in this way as a kind of metaphor to mean a key thing, a key aspect that is supporting the whole. So there are 5 areas here, all of which are equally necessary and none of which can be ignored as they try and sort this thing out.
Right.
One of which is investing.
Yes, investing in new technology. So when you invest in something, it can mean in a metaphorical sense or it can be in a literal sense. If it's literally, then it means you're giving money to it. You're putting money into something in the hopes that that thing will grow or develop in a way that is favorable, and then you can get a good return on it later, which means that it will produce good results for you because you put money or time into it. I think in this case, they're doing both money and work and effort, all sorts of things that they're putting into it now to make sure of a good result later. So they're investing money in new technology. They're working on independent research. They're hoping that these things will produce results that will help their goal.
Yeah, we can say you invest money. You can also invest time, effort, energy, hope.
Yep.
Basically, you give something and hope that it will pay off in the end after a period of time.
Right.
So another pillar is there will be annual forums used to report on the progress and bring together experts to suggest improved solutions. So as we mentioned, these are people from maybe outside the big tech companies. These could be legal professors saying this is what we can do legally, or this is what you need to do to convict and stop people. It will be people who know about children's psychology in terms of what children will click on and how to stop them, and things like that. And an annual forum is where these people will meet. A forum is a meeting, or it can be an online meeting as well, where views and ideas on a particular issue can be exchanged. We also have something called an internet forum, which is a web page or site where people can post to comment on various different topics.
I think PTT is a good example of a forum.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what these big companies are doing. And the final sentence of the article kind of talks about why it's important that all these companies get involved.
Yeah. All right. So it says, as these horrible crimes are beyond one single company's ability to stop entirely, it's hoped that with all these companies working together, the internet can become a safer place for children. So, yeah, I agree with this. You know, it's not the job or the ability of one company to do to complete a project of this magnitude, of this size. So, you know, since Google and Facebook, I would say, control a great big portion of the internet, if they are together working on this, then they can actually use their power for something quite good.
Yeah, and then you've got Apple and Microsoft who are kind of in charge of the programs rather than just the individual sites. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you need everybody working together to combine internet, software, programs, all the rest.
It's like superheroes. It's like the Avengers.
It is like the Avengers, yeah. Let's hope they succeed.
All right.
Let's move on then to our second story.
Yes.
Taiwan, Mountain Beauty, Village and Culture wins Tele Award.
Yay.
So we learn that this TV show, Taiwan, Mountain Beauty, Village and Culture, it's a TV show that brings Taiwan's stunning scenery to audiences around the world. We use the word stunning to describe something that makes you go wow when you see it. It's really impressive, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. If you were walking and you saw this thing, you'd stop walking and spend some time looking at it because it really does take your breath away.
Makes you go, whoa. Yeah. So the country's tourism bureau worked with PBS host Joseph Rosendo to create the show. So we have two organizations that are involved in this. We have the Tourism Bureau, and a bureau is like a part of the government. You could say it's a division of the government that covers one particular topic. It's smaller than a ministry, but the Tourism Bureau, for example, of course, is in charge of tourism in Taiwan. It's trying to promote tourism, saying to people like, well, go see these places, and put out advertisements and encourage, you know, places to be more tourist friendly. That's its job. And then we have PBS, which is, I believe, public broadcasting.
Or service, yeah.
Yeah, public broadcasting service, which is a public television channel or public television program. Yeah.
So anybody can watch it. You don't need cable, you don't need to pay or anything like that.
Right.
So we see Rosendo takes viewers to Taroko National Park and introduces features such as the Qingshui Cliffs and the Bayang Waterfall Trail. I think I've seen these ones, I can't remember all the right names of everywhere I've been.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen them, but I don't know their names.
Yeah, it's like if you show me a picture, I can tell you, I've been there, I haven't been there, oh, that looks different. I'm pretty sure I've not been to the Bayang Waterfall Trail because I think that's a really long trail and you kind of need almost all day to walk to one end and then back again.
I see. Is the waterfall at the end?
Exactly. And that's if my memory is right of my old guidebook that I haven't looked at in years.
Okay. And Qingshui Cliffs, I remember looking, and they're on the coast of Hualien.
That sounds right,
They're on the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah. So they wouldn't also be able to be seen from inside the park, but probably from a boat. All right. So at every step, Joseph, highlights not only the area's wonderful scenery, but also the important moments in history connected with Taroko Gorge and the efforts the national park managers have made to promote sustainable tourism. So we have a whole lot of information in this sentence. We're talking about what the TV show highlights. And highlighting something means to point it out specifically so that you can talk about it in a very detailed way and make it kind of the focus of what you are showing. So, yeah, highlighting can also be, you can use it in studying too. Like if you have a very bright yellow marker and you color text with it, that's highlighting. So it's making something stand out.
Exactly. And of course, you have to make the gorge stand out, either because of its scenery or because of its history.
Yes.
Now, a gorge, if you're wondering, is a narrow valley between hills or mountains, typically with steep, rocky walls and with a stream running through it. So,
very specific.
Yes, that is exactly what Taroko Gorge is, which is why it's called a gorge. So
Yeah.
It's just the name for that kind of geographical feature.
It's not quite big enough to be a canyon.
And it's not wide enough to be a valley.
Right.
It's a kind of valley. It's just a very narrow one with a river.
Very narrow and very steep.
Exactly. So we would call it a gorge.
Yep.
Okay. And sustainable tourism means tourism that's done in a way that doesn't hurt the environment. So that's encouraging things like the use of bicycles, making sure people don't litter.
Yeah.
You know, any new developments are done in a way that doesn't affect the overall park.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah, you want to protect the landscape as well. All right, so how did it turn out? Well, we already know it won an award. It says the show proved to be a huge hit and was rewarded with a gold award at this year's Tele Awards. Hurrah!
Yep, a bit of information about the Tele Awards. These awards have been given out to TV and video broadcasts since 1979 and honour programs from all around the world. So therefore it's quite a big honour. This isn't just a local award from Taiwan's TV company. This is something that shows in the US, shows from all around the world would also be considered for. So to win gold, you're definitely doing well.
Okay.
And this has been going on for around 40 years, so 41 years. So yeah, it's a good award to win.
Yeah, sounds like it. All right, so I hope that this could promote the tourism economy of Taiwan. But here's our last sentence, and they are hoping the same thing. The Tourism Bureau hopes Taiwan mountain beauty, village, and culture will raise awareness of the possibilities of travel in Taiwan.
Yeah, that's the idea. People will see it and go, wow, that seems like a cool place to go and check out. You know, I'm going to add it to my holiday, my vacation bucket list and get out there and see Taiwan's beautiful east coast.
That's right.
All right, well, that is the end of both of our Newswatch stories. That's all the time we've got for today. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. For English Digest, I'm Pat.
And I'm Kat.
And we'll talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.
See ya.